It's him again. Was a bit of space for Lampard. Chelsea, after soaking up the pressure, have silenced Old Trafford. Now they're looking for Giggs. He's touched it over, check! And Ryan Giggs has got United level. It's a wicked ball in, and it's gone all the way in.
Chelsea have given it away to Ryan Giggs! David Luiz scores. Chicharito through on goal! Gary Cahill, and it's off the line from Rafael da Silva, but the referee's assistant has given it. Nani, Anderson, back to Nani. This could be glorious. Oh, what a goal! Yes, straight to Sturridge, who rounds Lindegaard. Oh no, it must be, and it is. Gonna step up and score.
From George Best and Bobby Charlton through to a remarkable 9-goal thriller. There have been some amazing meetings between Manchester United and Chelsea in the League Cup down the years. What will the latest chapter bring at Stamford Bridge tonight? Good evening, everybody. Chelsea against Manchester United, 4th round of the Carabao Cup. And remember, the teams met last in 2012 in the League Cup, 5-4 after extra time. All we know tonight is you can't go extra time, you go straight to penalties. But anything is possible, Ben Thornley, in this competition, because the teams are slightly mixed up. Sometimes there are youngsters thrown in as well, and you're not really sure what you're going to get.
No, very, very true. I think that obviously managers take what's going to go on in the season, the competitions, into priority, and you know, a lot of them will probably put this to the bottom of the pile. But at the end of the day, it's a trip to Wembley. It's another trophy for the cabinet, and it is also a chance for some of the fringe players to get a game. And I'm sure that that's what we're going to see here with both teams this evening.
Yeah, team news is on the way soon. Plus Ben's usually laughable predicted 11, but that is coming up. You mentioned it there, the first trophy of the season. If you can get that in the trophy cabinet at the end of February, suddenly it takes a bit of the pressure off, doesn't it? We've won a trophy. Yeah,
I mean, it's the one that comes round first, and therefore, you know, the games come thick and fast. You know, we're already at the semi-final stage before the Christmas break, and if you can sort of put a run together and you know, have something to look forward to in the early stages of 2020, then you know, it does give you that lift, it gives you that momentum, especially with such a huge log of fixtures going on through December as well, and before you know it, you're in a semi-final and a chance of going to Wembley.
Yeah, United right in the middle of this run of 4 away games. Started well, the victory in Belgrade, and of course victory in Norwich. Bournemouth coming up this weekend. You wouldn't have imagined this situation after the first game of the season. United absolutely thumping Chelsea at Old Trafford. Virtually since then it's been all gravy for Frank Lampard. In fact, they've won 7 on the spin coming into this game tonight here at Stamford Bridge. So it's a different Chelsea than the one we saw on the opening day.
It certainly is, but having said that, Stuart, I think that result flattered us a little bit, the scoreline. Yeah. We could quite easily have been down by half-time, but Chelsea have gone in an opposite direction to us. Obviously, we bridged that gap on Sunday with that victory, but I had a feeling at the time that would be the one and only time that Chelsea get a thumping this season, and so far I've been proved right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight here at the Bridge. All right, let's kick off by hearing from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He spoke to the press about this game post-match at Norwich at the weekend.
I know it's the obvious Paul Pogba question, but is there any chance of him?
I don't think we'll see him before December. So he'll be out for a while. Sorry?
Is the injury worse than you thought? Was he exacerbated?
He needs time to fully recover, so don't think he'll be back. Maybe Sheffield United after the international break, but probably December before you can see him.
What exactly has he done to his ankle?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but there is an injury there that needs healing, and yeah.
It's ankle rather than foot?
Ankle, yeah.
With that in mind, I mean, how impressive was Pereira in that under-10 role today? I felt like he stitched it together very well.
Yeah, I think his energy and drive, and the two Brazilians, to be fair, Fred and Andreas, they're going to be important for us. Scotty was excellent, but Scotty's a different player. Fred will probably take Paul's position for a while now, and then that's been brilliant for us. But Andreas has grown the last few games. His energy and running, chasing, he's a different sort of 10. But he can play also in the central positions. So I'm delighted with Andreas. Great professional, great attitude. Well, he does his job to the best of his abilities.
Is it encouraging to see that you can play this kind of attacking football without Paul? Because he was obviously very important in your best games until now, and you've played a great game offensively without him. Is that encouraging when he's going to be out until?
Yeah. Of course, there's no use talking about who's not going to be here for a long, long time, because he's not going to come on the pitch and help us until he's fit. Paul's been brilliant, and he is a creative midfielder that we need. But then it's up to the others to step up.
What's your view of Chelsea and their young team this season?
It's a very exciting team. I've got to say, Frank. Because he's got players that have been on loan 1 or 2 seasons in the Championship. The difference between my youngsters, they're now stepping almost right onto the scene. You can see Axel Tuanzebe, who's missed the last couple of games, but he's been out on loan. You can see the benefit, and I think they benefit from that now. And they're a mature young team.
Also, they've recovered quite well, obviously, after a very tough start.
Yeah.
Against your team. Has that impressed you that young players in that situation could go into the shells, have actually matured, haven't they?
Yeah, but I think Frank has done a good job, and because the performance against us was good, the result was bad. I think we held our hands up then as well and say 4-0, yeah, flattering. We were pegged back. They pressed us, but we scored 2 goals, the second and the third, within a minute, which decided the game for us. So we're under. We didn't think we were 4-0 better than them, but it's going to be an interesting game. We don't make it easy for ourselves in the cups, with the draws.
2003 when they beat God today, what do you think about this achievement?
Sorry?
2000 goal today.
2000 goal, Premier League goal.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's a great. That just tells everything about how much we've dominated the Premier League with the first team that gets to 2000. Today Marcus got his 50th goal, so it's a day of loads of celebration.
You feel like a lot of you...
Yeah, you first and the next one over there.
I feel like a lot of you've got a young squad, and obviously with all the injuries you've had, a lot has been expected of you very soon. Do you think at times it's too much too soon, but young players can surprise you and they can forge a lot of character in these difficult moments? Yeah,
you do. The characters will be revealed in tough times, but I think they've done excellent, the young kids. As I've said before, I can't give them any more responsibility, and I couldn't be more happy with many of the youngsters. We know it's been tough, and we know that we've asked a lot of them because Paul, Luke, Anthony, there's loads of other players that have been injured, and for us the youngsters have stepped up in a difficult period, but in the end they'll be stronger for it.
Okay, last question.
Yep.
Looking at the positives with the youngsters, we saw Brandon feature in the home game against Rochdale.
Yep.
He featured beginning of the week and we sang his praises. Thought
Yep.
it was a man of the match performance.
Yep.
Is Wednesday like another good opportunity to see the likes with him and maybe Jimmy Garner getting more minutes for the first team?
I would think so, yeah. Because, but just the 10-15 minutes Jimmy played tonight as well, I thought they were excellent because he's calmed us down and made some good decisions when we just want to see the game out. So we've not made a decision on who's going to play, but you'd probably see the two of them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
So that was Ollie speaking in the wake of the win at Norwich on Sunday, which really was an important victory for United, the first away win in the Premier League since we won at Palace at the end of February, and it's just taken that sort of monkey off your back, really, isn't it? The fact we've won a Premier League game and, of course, away from home in Europe as well.
Yeah, and it's been a long time coming as well, Stuart. You don't associate a club like Manchester United having to go so long to win away from home, but they, like you said, monkey off the back, they finally have done it now, and they did it in some style as well, it has to be said. You know, 3-1 really flattered Norwich, because it could quite easily have been 6 or 7 with the 2 penalty misses and the other chances that we created on the day. So it's a good win. They've already beaten Manchester City, so on the day they're no mugs. Nobody in the Premier League is, and I thought that it was a really good team performance and obviously a super result.
Yeah, I think it's still quite a strong-looking travelling squad who've come down here to Stamford Bridge, but you would expect to see some youngsters that Ollie has touched on in his press conference, the likes of Ghana and Brandon Williams, who did perform very well in Serbia last week. Would you expect to see those guys involved here tonight?
Well, as we'll see, they're both in my predicted starting lineup. Obviously, Brandon didn't play on Sunday at Norwich, and I didn't think he would anyway. But I don't think there's any reason why, in another difficult environment, obviously different to being abroad and the hostilities that you face in somewhere like Belgrade, but we know what it's like coming to Chelsea, so it's another test of not just his attributes as a footballer, but mentally as well. And the same for James Garner. That's why I've got them both in my starting 11 tonight, and I don't think they'll disappoint.
Yeah, we'll see that soon. It will be interesting to see what the side that the manager does pick, but certainly some experience he's brought down with him as well. It's not as though he's brought down a youth team. So it looks like we might be getting drenched any second. No, I think it's just about the water's just missed us. It will be interesting to see what he decides to do, because the talk is Chelsea are going to make a good few changes as well. So,
yeah, I mean, you can imagine that is definitely going to be the case. I mean, I'm sure the manager, with the travelling squad that we've seen, he is going to make sure that he has a blend of youth and experience, because Chelsea have been on a good run, and we don't want to be on the receiving end of what we gave them at the start of the season, and I'm pretty sure that Frank Lampard will have that in the back of his mind, that although I don't think it is going to be his priority, they always won, so there's going to be a little bit of that as well, but I'm pretty sure that the manager will pick a side that he feels is more than capable of competing against what is going to be an inexperienced Chelsea side as well.
But it's worth trying to keep up the momentum, isn't it? This is not the most important of competitions, but now we've got a bit of momentum going. If you can get a positive result here, suddenly everything looks better going into Bournemouth, going into next week.
Do you know what? Probably with the way things have gone for Manchester United since we played Chelsea, nobody really gives us a chance here. But I think the same thing happened last year when we went to places like Wembley, when we went to when we came here and won. When we're a little bit of the underdogs, I actually think that we probably perform better. And I said at the start of the season we will surprise a few, and maybe coming here and winning tonight will be a bit of a surprise to some people.
Yeah, and well, I reckon there's a fair to middling chance we're going to get drenched live on TV quite soon, so keep watching for that. Meanwhile, have you got a tactics board in your kitchen? Well, a young lad, teenager, called Dan has, as you might have seen if you watched Monday night's edition of Kicking Off, when we spoke about who we wanted to see in the lineup tonight. Take a look at this.
Dan, I saw your board earlier. Talk us through your team.
See, for me, my team is... Yeah, we can see that. Yeah, fine. I think I've got De Gea in net. It's full strength team. And if we get injured, it's ifs, buts, and maybes. I think we've got to go full strength, maybe a little, and trust our ability in areas. And trust yourselves to maybe, if Harry Maguire gets the ball here, go have a bit of a drive. Go have a bit of a drive into the midfield areas, and be trustworthy straight into here. Get the ball, try and pass it round them. And then when we get into areas here, we can go 1v1. 1v1, get it at him, shoot. As any Man United fan just want to see shots and effort to the players. And I think this is a big game for us to progress, get players into the game what maybe need a bit more confidence, probably maybe looking at your Rashfords and your Freds, and your, not Martial, because you just come back and scored 2 great goals, but because Rashford's missed penalties and Fred's apparently been getting a lot of slate. But I think Fred's adapting to the game, and he will do well in areas against Chelsea if he plays. I think getting on the ball is quite vital to him. If he makes a mistake, pull your sleeves and go win the ball back. Scott McTominay, do your usual thing, try and win the possession back, try and play through the thirds. Victor Lindelof, be your normal self, cut the balls out, try and be as ruthless as you can. Harry Maguire, be you. Don't worry about this Soyuncu from Leicester. You're at Manchester United, not at Leicester anymore. You have freedom to do what you want. Luke Shaw, if he plays, fantastic. If not, I'd probably go with Brandon Williams to have a bit of game time. Wan-Bissaka, 1v1 battle with, if Hudson-Odoi plays, the 1v1 battle between him and Hudson-Odoi, I think we've got to get tight and win the game by him and get forward little overlaps past James, who can hopefully another assist, he'll play well. Martial, get tight, hold the ball up. Pereira, usual work. Rashford, do what you did on Sunday and just have confidence. You've got to play on the front foot. Try everything in forward areas, trying to win the ball high or low, and then we can build attacks into final thirds.
If you've just joined us, welcome to Kicking Off. This is what it's like every week. I was worried that Dan was going to take my job.
I was going to say, shall I get my coat?
It's Gary Neville he's going to have, isn't he?
Heck.
It's absolutely sensational.
Dan, who stole the show and Kicking Off Monday night on MUTV, in his kitchen there with the sort of tactics board, lines going everywhere. Harry Maguire should be bringing it out. He should be doing that. He should be doing that. As a coach in the making.
Well, he looks already like a bit of a junior master tactician, no question about it. He's certainly got a lot to say with some good explanations as well about how he thinks the team should play, who should play, and the way that the manager should go about it. So I wonder if he's been watching it.
So Dan made perfect sense. Now here's Ben with his with his predicted lineup for tonight. Now I have to say, before we look at it, I wondered on the way here, are we going to go to a 3 again like we did against Liverpool and in Serbia last week? Went with a 3, went back to a 4 in Norwich. Will we go with a 3 tonight? You don't think so?
No, and whereas you did think that we'd stick with that system on Sunday. I had a funny feeling that because of who we were playing and because we needed to make ourselves a little bit more top heavy, then we were going to go back to a back 4 and enabling to play those 3 up front. And I think that that's the way he'll go tonight. You only get one chance, and I think that he will go to a back 4 and enable us to have those 3 up front.
I think we're both going to be top heavy after going to the buffet in the press room. Here at Stamford Bridge. Let's have a look at your lineup then. So you've gone with the 4. Jones, you did well out in Serbia, back in the side according to you.
Yeah, I thought he did. He'd been out of the team for quite a while, and he came back in. He got a booking that never was, but he didn't let that affect him, and he made one tremendous clearance in the second half that was very, very dangerous, and that means that he was switched on, he was alert, and I think he deserves his chance again to play tonight. Williams, he was brilliant last week, wasn't he? He was. He was him playing. He was superb. He was the reason why we managed to get the penalty that eventually won us the game. I think if he has to play in that wing-back role, he can do that. But tonight, I think it'll be more of a defensive role for him. But having seen him in the 23s, I know how aggressive he is and how he loves to get forward and support whoever he's playing on that side. And tonight, I've got that as Dan James. And obviously, Rashford and Martial will stand out as a partnership at Carrow Road at the weekend. But you've sort of separated them up tonight. You've gone with James there and Jesse in behind. Yeah, I think Anthony's, he's coming back into the team. Obviously, he scored the winner on Sunday. He's not played that much football. I thought the manager was really, sort of clever and astute in bringing him off. And I feel as though Marcus is just looking like the striker that we saw burst onto the scene. I think he looks really sharp, he looks hungry, he's full of running, and even though they look like they were building, and they will continue to build a really good partnership between the two of them, I've gone for Jesse Lingard, who I thought came on and did a couple of really good things on Sunday at Norwich. He won the ball back for the team, which you don't necessarily associate Jesse doing, but he worked extremely hard. He had a shot that just went over the bar and he looked lively. So I've gone with Jesse and perhaps to give Anthony Martial a little bit of a rest so as not to you know, get him doing too much too soon.
All will be revealed very, very soon when we actually get confirmation of the team news on this chilly night here in West London. Of course, the bumper support for Manchester United will be behind the goal at the shed end. Always great support, particularly when it's a cup game. As we'll see in a minute when we look back in the FA Cup victory United had here. But it's a rare victory. I think we've lost 7 of the last 10 visits here in all competitions. Even when we were at our Alex Ferguson peak, we still found it really hard here. Why is it always so hard here?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I came here when I was a player here, and I remember being 5-1 up at half-time. I think it was. I think that was in the cup as well. I think we ended up being 5-3, run out 5-3 winners. I remember Phil Neville scoring a winner here in a 1-0 victory. But other than that, they have been very, very scarce. There's no question about it. Difficult place to come, but we have found it more difficult than most for some reason.
Well, we had a very rare but very welcome victory in the FA Cup here last February when Ollie was winning every single game that mattered. Remember this?
They've won at the competition's most successful club, Arsenal, and now they face the holders at what's become the hardest venue for United to win at, Stamford Bridge. Mata to Matic. Well, that could be a great ball, and their header is straight at the goalkeeper. Well, what a chance for Chris Smalling that was. Maybe it's easier to say from here. Heading it down might have been the option. The Brazilian is going to take it. Pushed away by Romero and smashed back in by Pedro, and well dealt with by Romero at the second attempt.
Well, there's a reason why Ole Gunnar has stuck with the Argentinian. A brilliant double save.
Pogba, now Mata. Herrera lines up the shot. Good effort as well. An awkward save from Aretha Balaga.
Well, here's the strike from Ander Herrera, and it was going in.
Whipped in towards Herrera, who must score and does.
Brilliant.
Wonderful ball in from the left-hand side. Paul Pogba with a magnificent cross. Ander Herrera saw it all the way, and he buried the header, and United ahead in this 5th round tie, 1-0. Now Rashford steaming down the right-hand side using that great pace. There's men over at the far post. Great header, 2-0. Fabulous header from Paul Pogba. He set up one, he scored a second, and on the stroke of half-time, Manchester United in complete command. Now, we've got a chance to get back into it, and he's put it well over the top there. Of all the people you didn't want that to fall to, Eden Hazard, and it was a terrific block. Big moment in this tie. Willian, that'll do. And here he comes. Keep hold of it.
That's it.
What a win. Manchester United end their Stamford Bridge hoodoo. They've knocked out the holders. Chelsea 0, Manchester United 2.
When the draw was made for that FA Cup tie, I remember thinking, wow, Arsenal away, then Chelsea away, the gods are against us. It was a great win, that. It was a great win, that.
Brilliant win.
Yeah.
It really was. We've just spoken about how difficult it is to, you know, to beat Chelsea here, and yeah, it was a fantastic win.
Paul Pogba with a sort of getting into the box late, flying effort into the net. Still missed the man, don't we? He might be back in December, according to Ollie. I mean, we'd hoped he'd been back a little bit earlier, but probably still another month.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's hope so. Obviously, it's a difficult period. You know, we've got 9 games, I think, between the 1st of December, the 1st of January, and that is excluding should we get through here tonight, which would make it 10. So we need players of the calibre of Paul Pogba, but there's not really much point in talking about him at the moment because he's out injured, he can't help. Ander Herrera, who scored the other goal, he's not here either. So this is where other people get their chance, and they get the chance to show the manager what good players they are, and that they can take the place of these people that are not involved.
Something we touched on earlier, last time we were here for a League Cup game, it was in Sir Alex Ferguson's final season. Remember, we won 3-2 here in the league, and a few days later we were back in the League Cup. It was an absolute riot of a game. 5-4 after extra time. And there were times where you thought, we're going to win this.
Well, we were ahead 3 times from what I can remember, and at 3-2. You just needed Nani, I think it was, who
he put us ahead 3-2. It was a great goal,
wasn't it? Super goal, little chip, really delicate chip. And then I wouldn't have liked to have been in the dressing room afterwards with Sir Alex Ferguson with the rollicking that I'm pretty sure he got when he lost the ball in the corner. And Chelsea obviously went down the other end, equalised it up at 3-3, and then took it to us in extra time. I mean, it was a hell of a game. I don't really think that we're going to see that again tonight, but you never know. Both teams can score goals. They've proved that. 5-4, I very much doubt.
Would you expect it to be wide open as we're about to get drenched, I think, unfortunately? Oh, I think it's just avoiding us at the moment. The kind groundsman, there is actually a sprinkler just by my left foot, and he said we've isolated it. We've isolated it, so that's not going to go off.
No, it's gone.
So we might get. We're just about getting away with it.
Yeah.
Just about getting away with it. So you're not going for 5-4?
I'm not going for 5-4. No. I mean, any victory that Manchester United can get after the recent run of form will be fantastic, especially coming to a place like this where it is, no matter what team Frank Lampard decides to play, notoriously difficult to win.
How do you explain what's happened to Chelsea after a dreadful start at Old Trafford and beyond, and now 7 wins on the spin?
Well, I just said that at the start of the season, and that scoreline did flatter us. I don't think it was a 4-0 scoreline. They've got some extremely good players, and I think it's just taken Frank Lampard time to bed in himself and to get in the players. He realised from an early start, from an early time when he took the job, that he couldn't bring anybody else in. They've got the transfer embargo, so he had to go with what he had already, and they are proving fruitful for him, no question about it. They've had a really, really good first bit of the season after the drubbing that we gave them on the opening day.
Yeah, Frank Lampard looking to knock United out of this competition for the 2nd year running. Did it with Derby last year, of course. Scott McTominay going to be in the lineup tonight. A crucial player for Manchester United, as we saw at the weekend, was Statman Dave and Danny Webber, who've been analysing his performance against Norwich.
Rashford and Martial grabbed some really important goals for Manchester United against Norwich, but we've got to look at the Manchester United official man of the match, Scott McTominay, because he dominated midfield.
He did, and he was at the centre of everything good that United did. And he has been for a while now. He's been really consistent. His performances week in, week out are getting better. Just picked out a couple of points here. As you see, United on the front foot as they were. It's just a case of
good pressure from Manchester United. But I think the big thing is Scott recovering the ball, the second most for Manchester United. But then in that position, it's a very difficult pass to play, that right, Danny?
It is a difficult pass to make, but a very positive one to make, and it goes down to the mentality of the player. In the past, probably 3 or 4 years, United would probably have been guilty of playing the ball backwards, starting again, it becoming laboured, but that wasn't the case. It was wrapped into Pereira's feet.
Fight in there, creating a situation for United where they can get at the back four as well.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to break people down. You're trying to keep the momentum up. We go down the side. We're trying to recycle the ball and get it forward as quick as we can. Pereira plays a ball inside, just not the right weight on that pass, but from McTominay's point of view, again,
positive play. Recovering the ball, playing forward. Let's say there's a few more instances of McTominay doing some really good stuff. This time it's winning the ball back twice in one single move.
Yeah, just hunting people down. He's relentless, making sure that we win the ball. I mean, Roy Keane used to say something, it was a case of don't just go for the hunt, make sure you go in for the kill, and that's exactly what he's doing every single time.
What's nice about this as well is we saw that forward pass, that pass into, a sort of a number 10 area to Pereira, but there's nobody there. So McTominay plays the right pass this time as well.
He does, yeah. It's congested with yellow teammates here. So from his point of view, he's gone out, found the most space on the pitch for United to go again.
Sort of playing out, as we're going to see on the clip. Really good. You're moving the point of attack for United, doing the basics right, winning the ball twice and then moving it on. And this one, I really like this bit, Danny.
Yeah, for me, again, this time he's hunting. Timing of his tackles, excellent. And then United are on the front foot again, counter-attacking. And it all comes from, sometimes the kind of thing that players don't get credit for, and he does it very, very well and does it simply. So he was outstanding.
Cleaning up, recycling the football, and then playing that positive pass, or winning it in a zone where you can instantly break on the opposition. Really important from a central midfielder.
Really important, and you said cleaning up. That's the key word. Cleaning up, tidying up the play, and making sure that you get it forward as quick as possible.
Well, good evening and welcome to the studio here at Old Trafford. Two guests with me tonight, Danny Simpson and Sylvain Ebanks-Blake as well. And a big night for Manchester United, a big night for Chelsea, a great cup tie on our hands.
Yeah, it is. I think obviously got a good result at the weekend, and I think it's all about momentum. I know it's a cup game, so I think it's important that United at the moment try and get a bit of momentum and get through into the next round.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? But Chelsea could pose quite a test tonight, Sylvain.
Yeah, Chelsea are in good form. I think 7 unbeaten up to now. Good young team. Frank Lampard's building something there. So it's going to be a tough test, but United are equally in good form. Unbeaten in the last 3, a good result at the weekend, so makes for an interesting contest.
It certainly does. We'll have the team news for you very shortly, but we have to wait until an hour before kick-off, so not long until we see who Ollie's picked. But it's interesting when you see 2 Premier League teams meeting each other, isn't it, Danny? Because you just never know how they're going to react, whether it's going to be an experienced side, whether it's going to be a bit of a mixture. How do you think Ollie will play this?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what the teams are. Obviously, we all know at the moment with Chelsea, they've got a lot of young players that are performing well in the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see what Frank Lampard decides to do with them. And obviously, United, we've got young players that are probably playing the best in a United shirt at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what he does, whether he wants to rest them or, like I said, go with experience. I've seen that Mason Greenwood played last night. So that suggests that he wants to go strong, and maybe Mason just needed a game last night.
Yeah, you were there last night, weren't you?
I was, yeah. It was a good game last night. I think.
Surprised to see Mason play?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was surprised. I thought he might have played today, but we get to see the team. But I think play your strongest team. I think it's an opportunity to get into the quarterfinals of a cup competition, an opportunity to try and win silverware. You play your strongest team, and then you sort of lay down your gauntlet to young lads to get in and be part of that strongest team. And that's what it's about when you play for Manchester United.
It's an important competition. I know you've both played in the competition in the past. Important when you are a young player coming through to have that cup run, so that you get as many opportunities throughout the season as you can.
No, it's massive, and obviously me and Sylvain have been fortunate to play in it, and it's a big cup, it's a big competition. So again, they're playing a Premier League team, and I think it's really important that they go down to Chelsea tonight and try and play well and get through into the next round, as Sylvain said.
Yeah, I've been hearing lots of debates this week about which team this competition is more important for, United or Chelsea. Surely it's important for both.
Yeah, it's important for both, and both managers as well. New managers managing big teams as well. They'll want to win silverware nice and early and sort of take the pressure off. So it's massive for both clubs, and both managers especially. So I think it's equal.
Yeah. What do you think it can do for a team to win silverware, sort of at the end of February, really, that early in the season? Can it give you a boost just towards the end of the season, Danny?
Oh yeah, massively. Like you said, it's the end of February, you've still got a few months left of the season, and I think it'll be, for, like you said, both managers to get a trophy as soon as possible. It'll take a bit of pressure off for the remainder of the season. So yeah, both managers will be keen to win a trophy as soon as they can.
Yeah, with the way our season's gone so far as well, Sylvain, it would do so much for Ollie to sort of make a statement that he is here not only long term, as we all know, but he's also here to win silverware and try and just turn the fortunes of this club around.
Yeah, I think any time you go to Stamford Bridge and get a result, it's a massive statement. But to go there tonight and beat them and go through to the quarterfinals would be massive for the football club, massive for the young players involved. And just a great pick-me-up, really, for what's been a good 10 days for the football club.
Yeah. OK, well, we all want to know the team news. Let's find out who's playing from Stuart Gardner.
Team news just here in the interview room off the tunnel is Manchester United have made 4 changes from the side that was so impressive at Norwich at the weekend, but still very strong-looking lineup. Dropping out of the side, David De Gea, also Ashley Young, Andreas Pereira, and Anthony Martial. Coming in, Romero, Rojo, Young Williams, and Lingard. So let's take a look at the side then. And we think it's going to be a reversion to a 3 at the back, as we saw against Liverpool and in Belgrade. So that's Romero in goal. The back 3, Lindelof, Maguire, who's wearing the captain's armband as he did in Serbia, and Rocco. The wing-backs we think will be Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams, who were so excellent in the Europa League, with McTominay and Fred anchoring midfield. Jesse Lingard then we think will play just ahead of them, with pace and threat of James and Rashford up top for Manchester United. On the bench, Phil Jones, Juan Mata, back on familiar territory of course, Anthony Martial, Lee Grant the goalkeeper, Andreas Pereira, Ashley Young and James Garner. That's the Manchester United lineup. Chelsea are making 6 changes from the team that won at Burnley at the weekend. Still a strong lineup though, and also they have their backup goalkeeper in Caballero in goal, back for the promising Reece James, Kurt Zouma, then a young man in Mark Gurhey, who did play in a previous round against Grimsby, Alonso at left back. 3 in midfield, the familiar faces of Jorginho, Kovacic, but also young Scotsman Billy Gilmore getting opportunity. He sort of played against Grimsby earlier on in the competition. And then a dangerous front 3 of Hudson-Odoi, Batshuayi and Pulisic, who of course scored a hat-trick at Burnley at the weekend. Giroud and Pedro and Tammy Abraham among the subs for Chelsea in case they need them. But Manchester United making 4 changes, but a strong lineup. So that is the team news from here in the interview area, just off the tunnel at Stamford Bridge. Back to Old Trafford now, Mandy and the team.
Thanks very much, Stuart. Interesting, 4 changes for Manchester United, as Stuart said, but a strong lineup, Sylvain.
Yeah, 2 strong teams there. I fully expected United to be strong. It's an opportunity to get into the quarterfinals. I like how he stuck with Brandon Williams in there as well. He's a good player. I've seen a lot of him this season. He'll be excited to be playing at Stamford Bridge in a big cup tie. And yeah, it's a strong team. They're going for the win.
Yeah, we've guessed 3 at the back. Do you think that's the way it'll pan out, Danny?
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you Ollie reverted to that obviously against Liverpool, and I think it's something especially Harry knows, because obviously he played that formation for England. So I know from personally knowing Harry that he likes that formation. He's got the captain's armband, which I'm delighted for him. He's been doing well. But I think when you get a good result in that formation, you stick with it.
Yeah, and James, Lingard and Rashford up front. James has been absolutely superb so far this season.
He's been brilliant. He's been a breath of fresh air since he's come in. He's wore the Man United shirt with pride. He's a player that wants to play for this football club. He works really hard. He was brilliant at the weekend. He showed me something I didn't know he had in his game, which is his passing range against Norwich was brilliant. He set a goal up for Rashford, which was phenomenal. And he's been really good. Big game for Lingard as well in there. He'll be looking to get back on song. And Rashford, his confidence is sky high now. He's scored a couple of goals now, and you can see that he's back to his normal self.
Yeah, and another game for Williams as well. A great confidence booster for him.
Yeah, and as I said, it's like Sylvain said, it's really good that Ollie's stuck with him. He's been performing well, and I think that just goes to show any lads in the 23s that if you do get a chance and you perform well, then Ali said he'll stick with you and he'll keep giving you games.
Yeah, we'll just confirm the Chelsea team, because first glance it certainly looks, Sylvain, that we've gone stronger, but they've still got plenty of players in there that can hurt United.
Yeah, they've got players with real experience in there. Kovacic, Jorginho, they're good players. Pulisic's confidence is high, scored a hat-trick. Reece James, a really good player. Zouma's confidence is there again, he's solid. So that's a strong team as well. It's a mixed bag, but it's a strong team, and they'll be looking to get a result again.
Yeah, they've been so impressive in recent weeks, Danny, haven't they?
They have. I think, like I said, Frank knows the club inside out, and he knows a lot about the players. And he said, like Sylvain said, Pulisic has been in good form, and I think Frank's been handling the media quite well as well, because they've been trying to get on him a bit and get on some of the players a bit, especially Pulisic. And I said he's stuck with him, and he's played him in the right games, and now he's showing that he'd be paying the faith.
Yeah, it's certainly got quite a young bench as well, but also options on there. Certainly a lot of options. You have a look at just it running across the screen now there with Giroud and players like that to come on and hurt if things aren't going right. And that's what we have as well on the bench. Interesting options, a couple of young players for us as well, and Garner on the bench as well.
Yeah, definitely. Strong bench. I think Giroud would be disappointed not to be playing in this game.
Yeah, a lot of people were predicting he would start,
I thought he would start today. So he'll be disappointed, but look, he'll be wanting to get on that pitch. Equally with United, they've got Garner who'll be itching to get on. He's had a taste of it. Got Martial who's in good form. So it's two strong benches and two strong 11s today. So I'm really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's hear from the man who picked that team tonight. Ollie is with Stuart at Stamford Bridge.
Ollie, 4 changes from Norwich at the weekend, but still a very strong lineup.
Yeah, we feel it's a team that's going to come here and give us a good chance to go through. Of course, Chelsea some problems, hopefully.
And James and Rashford again showed how dangerous they can be at Carrow Road at the weekend. You hoping for something similar again, the sort of understanding that we saw at the weekend?
Definitely. Of course, Anthony played with them then, and Andreas. Now it's more similar to the Liverpool game with the two of them up there. So we hope they're going to continue their good form.
And I suppose you'll be playing a Chelsea side, I think, who've had 7 straight wins. Obviously, they've mixed their side up a little bit, but clearly very confident tonight, I'd imagine. Yeah,
they're a good team, good players, big, strong squad. Some young players coming in. We've got some youngins coming in. So, I think it'll be a good game.
Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
To Ollie, in confident mood, he never won this competition as a player, but he'll be hoping to do so as a manager, Danny.
No, he will. I think he'll be desperate to. No, he's desperate to perform and to do well for this club. And I said it's a very important competition for him, and I think it shows tonight with his team selection. And like I said, it's to get that first trophy for Ollie will be massive for him and Man United.
Yeah, Danny was talking earlier about Frank and how he's been dealing with the press since he took over. What have you made of Ollie dealing with the media, etc.? Because he had a great run, obviously, when he first came in. Then things went a little bit tricky.
Yeah, I think he's remained calm. I've liked his interviews. He's come across, he's got a message and a clear message, and that's that we're building something for the future. Stick with us. We're trying to promote youth. We're trying to bring in the right players for the football club who want to play here. And it's just one of patience. I've really enjoyed him in the press, because it's been mixed. He had a really good start, as you touched on, then not so good results, but he's remained calm and he believes in the strategy that he's going to put into this football club, and that ultimately that will bring success.
Yeah. How much do you think it helps, Danny, that especially the young players that are coming into this side now know that he knows this club inside out?
Yeah, we've both been young players there, and I think, we've probably played for managers. They're not so keen on bringing you through. But Ali said that in his press conferences, and he grew up. He was at United for a very long time as a player. He saw so many players come through in the youth, and we played with him a lot actually as well when he was sometimes coming back from injury, and so he knows how important it is, and I think it's shown with Brandon, and he looks like a really good player. So I think any other young player or youth player looking at that will see it as, with Ollie in charge, it's a great chance to try and break into the first team.
Yeah, other players that I've spoken to that played with him said that they could always see him being a manager. Did you see that?
Probably not at that time, but he's such a cool character. He's obviously a student of the game. He was really good coming off the bench, which tells its own story, really. He was always in the game, even when he wasn't on the pitch. I like the way he comes across. He wants to promote youth. He knows this football club inside out. He's desperate for success. I believe he'll be successful here because he's doing things the right way. It's just going to take time. There needs a bit more patience around the football club. Let him bring in the right players and build something special.
OK, well, let's hear from one of our first teamers now. Sergio Romero is back between the posts tonight in for David De Gea, and one of the most impressive second-choice keepers in world football. Romero always steps up to the plate when called upon. He spoke with MUTV at the training ground earlier this week.
Sí, fue un lindo partido. No conseguimos el resultado de ganarlo durante los 90 minutos, pero fue un lindo partido porque Rochdale jugó, intentó jugar al fútbol, no nos hizo las cosas simples y bueno, llegamos a los penales y gracias a Dios pudimos clasificarnos, que era lo más importante para nosotros. Más o menos tenía idea de cómo podían patear sus jugadores, pero mucho más me guiaba por la intuición, ¿no? Porque a mí me gustan mucho los penales e intuir a dónde pueden ir. Si bien uno por ahí mira un poco de los penaltis, la intuición en el momento juega mucho. Y gracias a Dios pude parar uno y mis compañeros convirtieron todos y eso fue lo mejor para nosotros. Sí, sin lugar a dudas, era una de las cosas que nos estaba faltando, convertir goles. Por ahí hemos ganado partido 1-0 o hemos empatado 1-1, pero notar adentro un campo de juego que nuestros delanteros cuando tienen el balón van a convertir, era lo que nos estaba faltando, esa chispa, ese último toque. Y ayer creo que contra Norwich las cosas salieron bien. Se logró convertir 3 goles, tuvimos la posibilidad no solo de hacer 2 penaltis, sino que de otras 2 o 3 atajadas que ha hecho el portero de ellos. Creo que fue un día muy productivo para nuestros atacantes, para la confianza, para tener la moral alta. Y defensivamente estuvimos sólidos, así que se complementó bien el equipo en el día de ayer. No, yo creo que si nos ponemos a mirar tanto el partido en Serbia como el partido en Norwich, fueron 2 cosas muy diferentes. En Serbia fue un partido muy duro, muy trabado, muy luchado, en el cual nosotros convertimos un gol, pero ellos también tuvieron su oportunidad de convertir. Y ayer en Norwich la cosa fue totalmente distinta. Creo que a pesar de los 3 goles tuvimos claramente 7 posibilidades de gol, de las cuales 2 penaltis y las otras tapó el portero. Y Norwich no tuvo tantas posibilidades de gol porque la defensa nuestra estuvo muy sólida. David tuvo muy poco trabajo y eso es algo muy bueno para nuestro equipo, para nuestro grupo. Ahora tenemos 2 partidos por delante muy difíciles, ya sea Chelsea por la Copa y nuevamente los serbios en casa, que van a nuevamente hacer 2 partidos totalmente distintos. Creo que con Chelsea vamos a encontrarnos con un equipo muy duro, un equipo que se fue soltando con el correr de los partidos y que ha agarrado el ritmo de juego que quiere su entrenador. Y nosotros vamos a tener que plantarnos muy duro como nos hemos plantado hace un año atrás ahí. Y con los serbios acá va a ser un partido totalmente distinto porque nuestro campo de fútbol está en espectaculares condiciones para jugar al fútbol. Así que tanto nosotros como ellos vamos a tratar de aprovechar eso, ¿no? Sí, siempre que se juega contra equipos importantes, los partidos nunca son fáciles. Siempre se salen partidos trabados, que ambos tienen la posesión del balón o que ambos tienen muchas situaciones de gol. Este año nos tocó debutar en Premier contra ellos, en ese partido, ese 4-0 famoso, donde nosotros logramos convertir esos 4 goles, pero Chelsea ha tenido sus oportunidades también. David ha estado muy bien ese día, la defensa ha estado muy bien ese día, remate que se han ido afuera. Nunca son partidos fáciles, pero trataremos de ir a Londres, de hacer nuestro trabajo. Si sale un partido duro, vamos a estar trabajando para sacarlo adelante. Y si sale un partido jugado de igual a igual, las cosas van a estar para cualquiera de los dos y nosotros sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer adentro del campo de juego.
So the thoughts of Sergio Romero there. United arrived, of course, at Stamford Bridge ahead of tonight's game. We'll take a chat about Romero now, though, because 29 clean sheets he's got in 47 appearances. It's not a bad tally, that, for a number 2, is it?
No, impressive, really impressive. Whenever he's been called upon, he's been very good. He's been reliable. If it wasn't for the world-class nature of David De Gea, he'd be playing. Week in, week out, but when it, like I said, once he's been called upon, he's never let this United team down, and he's a good goalkeeper, and he's obviously testing De Gea every day in training, and them two test each other, and that's what it's about when you're number 1 and number 2. I guess they get on really well, and they compete every day in training.
Yeah, he must be one of the best backup keepers in the world.
Well, yeah, you'd have to say so with them stats, and I think it's credit to him because. We've all played the game and it must be difficult to, you're training every day, you train as hard as you can and you might not play for months, especially at a big club like Man United, and to come and play at Old Trafford and, like I said, he's not played for months, and to perform well, to play well and get a clean sheet, it's credit to him.
Yeah, I was reading an old interview with him the other day and he was talking about the fact that he's learned things from De Gea and De Gea has probably learned things from him as well. I guess you do, though, when your goalkeepers training with each other every day.
Yeah, it's like a goalkeepers union, that's well known within football, and it helps if you get along and you push each other every day in training, which I'm guessing these guys do because they're both top goalkeepers. Whatever they're called upon, they produce. they produce the goods. And unfortunate for him, he's behind an absolute world-class goalkeeper. But if it wasn't for that, he'd be playing week in, week out for United.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he was superb in the penalty shootout against Rochdale as well in the last round, and I suppose to come on and have that focus, as you mentioned, Danny, must be quite tricky. You know, then you're suddenly thrown in there for a penalty shootout.
Well, yeah, as I said before, it's a credit to him, and he clearly has got that focus to be able to come in and play at a high level like he does, and I think he's, from what I believe, he's #1 for Argentina. So, you know, for someone that doesn't play week in, week out, but to still be, you know, the main goalkeeper for his country, I think that says a lot about him.
Yeah, it certainly does. Well, let's take a look at the goals from last night now. United's under-21s battled it out against Doncaster's first team in the Leasing.com Trophy, a competition which is literally men against boys. And let's see how they got on.
He worked it well, he made with the shots, and this time a bad mistake from United's outstanding player on the night, Matti Kovar, who's made great save after great save, sadly lets one through his fingers, and Alfie May gives Doncaster Rovers the lead.
Yeah, really unfortunate. I mean, I touched on it before. Doncaster had upped the tempo. They were certainly knocking the door down, getting shots off on target. And this is it. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Really unfortunate for Kovar. He's been fantastic in this game.
Plenty forward in black now. Laird crosses out to Galbraith. Oh, what a hit!
Fantastic finish.
That's an absolute screamer. Galbraith with a goal of the season contender.
Absolutely
right foot
fantastic.
on the volley in the corner of the net. The United fans behind that goal celebrate. What a tremendous hit that is.
Brilliant finish.
Ethan Galbraith surely will never hit a better volley than this.
No, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Clearing header from the defender, follows in, rocket shot, hits the back of the net, gives the goalkeeper absolutely no chance. Fantastic technique, perfect. Won't hit a better ball all year.
United have it back, Galbraith. We're in the last minute of stoppage time. Greenwood going on the outside. Greenwood scores, and Manchester United have won it in the 4th and final minute of stoppage time. Mason Greenwood scores, and it's perfection for Manchester United in the Leasing.com Trophy. 3 wins from 3. They've come from behind, and they march into the last 32.
Absolutely fantastic. It's all Mason Greenwood. They break up the play from Doncaster. Alfie May gives the ball away. They attack with such belief. And I mean, it's all Mason Greenwood after that. Feints a step over and just slides the ball in. He's a nightmare to play against. He can go right, he can go left. This time he goes with his right foot and just slides it under the goalkeeper. And I've been saying it all night, work the goalkeeper. He's not played a lot of games. We're not sure what sort of mood he's in. And the 2 times he's been worked, he's not come up. And he's hit the back of the net.
So 3 wins out of 3, top spot in the table, qualified for the next round. And Sylvain, you were there last night. Impressed with them?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, the game sort of lit up in the second half. United were fortunate, actually, in the first half not to go 2 or 3 behind, but they showed real character, winning at 0-0, and then second half, fantastic strike from Galbraith, and then Greenwood finished it off in the last seconds. And it's brilliant for them young lads beating a first team outfit and obviously qualifying with maximum points.
How important do you think that is? Because there's a lot of criticism about under-23 football at the moment, isn't there?
I think it's really important because they're some of the toughest tests you'll get at them levels. Playing against a first-team outfit that play league football week in, week out. It's different equations they've got to solve as young players, but it's really good for them. And they've come up trumps there, you know. They've qualified, they've won every game in the group, and they've showed that they're up for the contest against sort of first-team regulars.
Yeah, and congratulations to the boys. And the last time that Danny Simpson was in the studio, you didn't have a club, and we must just touch on the fact that you now do. You're where now, in case anyone doesn't know?
Yeah, I'm at Huddersfield now, yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's going well. It's a good club. I went in there in a difficult period.
Well, just before you touch on that, we'll have a look at the stats. Huddersfield without Danny. Played 9. Played 9, 1-0. Danny Simpson's impact at Huddersfield Town with Danny, well, unbeaten in 6. Is it all down to you, Danny?
Thanks for that, yeah. Don't be modest. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, no, obviously, like I knew what I was walking into, and I knew the situation he was in, and it was a challenge. And I've gone in and just tried to use all my experience, tried to help some of the young players, and like I said, just do all I can to help the team, and I think it was a lot about belief as well. But yeah, it's unbeaten since I signed, and long may that continue.
Yeah, we must just also point out there was a managerial change as well, wasn't there?
A few weeks before.
What's it been like to work with a new manager?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, obviously he's got his own story. He's come from the lower leagues, and he's a young English manager. And he's hungry, and he's come in, and it's for him as well. It was a big job. He's not managed at that level, but now he's been great, and he's got he's like I said, he's hungry, and he wants to go to the top, and I believe he can if from what I've seen up to now.
Yeah, Danny Cowley, in case you didn't know who the manager is, by the way, and certainly, do you feel confident now about the season, the way that things have started to turn right? Yeah,
I said it's a lot of belief now. When I walked in, and he said they've lost a lot of, well, if not all the games. Sometimes it can get like that. Losing can become a habit, and we've got out of that. And now it's about being hard to beat, and I think that's now becoming a habit. For sending out a message across the league that you've got to do a lot to try and beat us. As long as we're solid at the back, keep clean sheets, you've always got a chance of winning games and getting points.
Yeah, nice to see you back playing again. Well, let's turn it back to tonight, and we'll head back down to Stamford Bridge, where Stuart has grabbed a word with an ex-player.
With an old friend here at the Bridge, Paul Parker, who's actually here, strictly speaking, for Radio London. So, are you supporting tonight, Paul?
Well, I don't think I'm going to be supporting a London team this evening, to be perfectly honest, if I say it that way. Always going to have to be United when United are playing.
What are you expecting tonight? Because this traditionally has been the hardest of venues for Manchester United, apart from when we won here in the Cup last year.
I mean, but you always get a good game here, and given what happened at the weekend and given what happened in Belgrade as well, I'm just really hoping that they can get some kind of run together. Even if they don't get a run, just a good performance would be good to go into the next league game.
What's been Frank Lampard's secret? A bit of a nightmare start at Old Trafford. Since then, well, he's reeled off 7 straight wins.
I think we have to say there was a little bit of luck involved in that as well. It wasn't a great United performance. Chelsea played quite well. It's just the fact of United were clinical in that game, and it's been so long since they have been that clinical, and all of a sudden it comes up at Norwich, doesn't it? Should have been more, as we know, but I think a lot of Frank's success has been about the players like him. It's his man management skills that have come through as well, and with working with young players at Derby County as well, that's given him that little bit there, and then rewarding those players at Derby by playing here at Chelsea as well. If he'd come into this job, maybe not having to use them, it might have been different, but because he had to, he put everything into them, and all of a sudden it's all bounced back in the right direction for him.
It's been a good week, 10 days for United after a bit of a rough trot. Do you see that the corner has been turned and the momentum is with United?
I really want to come out and say yes, but this is a game where it's a tester. It's a good game to have. Be interesting what team Frank puts out, because even if he was to rest players, they still have a good side out at Chelsea. Whatever he would go to, would still be very good. United a bit different with injuries and that as well, or maybe worried about certain players getting injured as well. So there'll be a few which we might play, might be touch and go, who he wants to play at the weekend. But I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a fantastic atmosphere as well, as there always is when it comes to United. They're always sold out their seats, especially when they come to Stamford Bridge as well. So I'm expecting a really good open game.
Last time United were here in the League Cup, it was 5-4 in 2012. You're not expecting that, are you, tonight?
No, I mean, if United can go and score 4 goals after scoring 3, that would be fantastic. To concede 5, no. I mean, given everything defensively, been quite tight, to be honest. So giving away goals doesn't really come into my mindset. It's more about can they go and score goals again. Create opportunities is the biggest thing which needs to be sorted out more than anything. And we saw that against Norwich. Now it's time to come and do it at Stamford Bridge.
Nice to see you, Paul. Thanks so much for joining us. Paul Parker, formerly of Manchester United. Right, well, we spoke about Frank Lampard and the job that he's doing here at Chelsea. Let's hear from him at his pre-match press conference.
The trajectory of both clubs since the opening day. I mean, you've gone way up, and obviously on this unbeaten run. United have really been stuttering. Is that fair?
I don't want to talk about United too much. The points in the table does speak, and our points total since that first game has been nice. We always want more, but it's been pretty nice, and it's not worth focusing on Manchester United, other than the fact to say that they're a team full of top players. You know, when you think of what they recruited in the summer, 3 very good signings for big money. Already players at the club that are good players, and it can be difficult for any of us, Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, everyone's talking about it, that this is the Premier League, and I don't think we should focus on this in only the period of 10 games. As much as people shouldn't get too excited about what we're doing, people shouldn't be too critical, I think, of other clubs as well. It feels like a million miles away and gone. You know, I'm not disregarding it. When you play against the top team, like Manchester United with top players, they can hurt you in moments, and they did it to us 4 times in a game that we performed pretty well in. So I don't think the context of that is going to be hugely relevant tomorrow night.
You spoke recently about how much of a soft spot you have for the League Cup. Is this the ideal trophy to target this season for maybe this group of players? Can you draw any comparisons to your time as a player with Chelsea and that first League Cup trophy?
I will target them all. I know what you're saying. It's one that comes at the earliest in the year. You find yourself very quickly, potentially, in the quarterfinals if we win. So yeah, we'll target them all and certainly give it a professional approach where we want to win every game and know that we're up against a top opponent tomorrow. So yeah, we'll give it the same focus as we gave Ajax last week, and we'll give Ajax next week. You know, every game must be, as a Chelsea player, something that you give absolutely everything to try and win.
And in terms of the League Cup, you've already spoken about your affection with the competition. You did win it with Jose. This group of players, we always talk about the young players, and there could be 6 or 7 in the England squad next summer at the Euros. You've brought so many through. But if they were to go on and lift silverware in this competition, that would be an incredible achievement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it would. It always will be when you think that Chelsea got to the final last year and were beaten by Manchester City, and we all know how good they are. So it shows you the difficulty of this competition and the prestige that should go with it. A day at Wembley for the fans is never. I never take that lightly, and we shouldn't do. So yeah, for the whole squad, not just the young boys. I think it's a competition we value. I valued it as a player, as I said before, and we'll give it our all.
Well, we talked about the start that Frank has had at Chelsea earlier, and not only won their last 7 games, but they scored 21 goals as well, Sylvain. Quite incredible.
Yeah, impressive, and you know, Tammy Abraham's chipped in with a lot of those goals as well.
Yeah.
He stepped up to the gauntlet. And they've been in really good form of recent as well, and it's no surprise because Frank's was a good player. He's proved a good manager. He's done a good job at Derby. He's come in. He's a Chelsea man. Chelsea's his football club, and he's getting the best out of the young players.
There's a lot of pressure on Ollie. Obviously, everybody's still got this big expectation, Danny, but there's less perhaps expectation on Frank. I know it's still Chelsea, but because of the transfer ban, do you think that they've had a little bit more freedom for him to kind of get on with it?
Yeah, I think you just mentioned it there. I think because of the transfer ban. So we don't know the ins and outs, but you know, if that was lifted and they were able to sign players, would it have been a different manager? And obviously he's come in and he knows the club inside out, and I think he's able to use the card over the young players because he's not been able to sign anyone, whereas obviously Ollie's made a few signings.
Yeah. What's impressed you about him so far in his time at management? Because it's not just this season, is it? It's what he did at Derby before as well.
Yeah, I just think the way he's taken to it. Some players are just natural-born managers, and I think Lampard's one of those. He knows how to go into a team, set up a group, and get them believing in his philosophy. He did that with Derby. Unlucky not to get promoted with Derby. He's come to Chelsea with the ban, so he's had to really promote youth. At a team that over the years don't really promote youth. They normally have experienced players and go to win trophies, you know. So he's had to do that. He's done that reasonably well, settled into that job, and he's doing a really good job there.
Yeah. Ollie was talking this week, Danny, about Chelsea's use of the loan market and the way they've done it. I think they've got just now 26 players out on loan. Have they played it quite well? Because they've been criticised for it, saying why are they not promoting youth? But at the same time, as Ollie was mentioning, they've now got all these players coming back from loan, like Tammy Abraham, and they've got that experience, as we've seen with Axel in our squad.
Well, I think that's the difference. I think, you know, we are saying they're young players, but they've been out on loan playing games. You know, Tammy's been at Swansea and Aston Villa scoring goals. I think he might have got his England cap playing for Swansea a few years ago. So we're talking 2 years ago that he got his England cap. Well, Loftus-Cheek's injured at the moment, but you know he had a good spell at Palace. So yeah, I think a lot of these players that he's playing, he's not had to bring from the 23s into a first team setup, which is new to them. They've already been out on loan getting experience.
Yeah, you touched on Pulisic earlier. He came in with this big price tag, didn't he, Sylvain? But he seems to be slowly settling into life at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, it'll take him a bit of time. He's obviously a good player. They paid a lot of money for him. He had a good weekend, so he'd be delighted with that. He plays again today. But yeah, he's coming over from the States. It's going to be difficult for him to adapt. Lampard's shown faith in him. He's been patient with him, giving him his chance when he feels it's right, and he's produced the goods. So he's another exciting player, full of pace, full of tricks, and he's going to be a threat out there tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they get on in general this season, because that youth policy that they've got, you just wonder how it's going to play out over the course of the season if they remain in all the competitions, don't you?
Yeah, and I think that's something that Frank will have to manage. He will know. He's had a very good career, so he will. You'd like to think he will know when to maybe. Sometimes you've got to pull a young player out of the team and give him a rest and keep him fresh. So I think Frank, coming through the youth systems himself and being a very good player, you'd like to think he will know when to pull him out and when to put him back in. To make it a successful season. Yeah.
OK, well, let's take a look at the other results in the Carabao Cup so far. Tuesday night's results. Leicester, well, they made 9 changes from that 9-0 win over Southampton to beat Burton 3-1. Colchester United, they're in the quarter-finals after beating fellow League 2 side Crawley. Everton also through, beating Watford 2-0. The holders, Man City, eased to a 3-1 win over Southampton. And Oxford United reached their first League Cup quarter-final since 1988, beating Sunderland on penalties. And there we go, the fixtures tonight so far. They were Liverpool already 1-up against Arsenal. That game kicked off, I think, at 7:30. Aston Villa against Wolves, and of course us, Chelsea against Manchester United as well. Interesting teams to get through so far, and Liverpool with an early lead as well there. Yeah,
an early lead against Arsenal there. Arsenal got their own problems. You've seen with their captain at the weekend as well. But yeah, Liverpool will be delighted to be 1-0 up in that game already. You've mentioned it, so what did you make of that situation? It's a tricky one, when sort of the fans are getting on your back, it's difficult. But as the captain, you've got to keep your composure, show your frustrations maybe in the dressing room, but not in public, But it's never nice when you're booed by your own fans, and he's had a bit of a torrid time since he's been at Arsenal, so I'm not quite sure why they made him captain, to be honest with you. For me, he's a liability. I don't know how you trust him, but they've made the decision to make him captain, and you've got to stick with that. But for me, you've just got to sort of keep your calm, not react, and not let it get the better of you. Yeah. Interesting to see how that one pans out. Well, you may have seen this week we've launched our brand new Manchester United podcast. The first episode is out now, where you can hear Brian Robson give us a tour of the Cliff training ground with some very funny stories along the way. For the launch, we started with a 2-part special. The second part features Robbo and the guys in the dressing room talking about their favourite stories. That'll be out later this week, but here is a little preview.
OK, we've taken seats now on, I guess, physio benches right in the middle of the training ground. We're in the middle of, I guess, the training centre, because we're in the changing room, which feels like the hub of all of it, doesn't it? And whilst walking around has been a pleasure, I guess this is where everything really happened.
Well, this is where all the banter happened. Yeah, lads telling stories, daft pranks going on. I can always remember me, Stevie Coppell, Ray Wilkins went to a variety club, Great Britain function in Leeds. It was for England. And anyway, Ray decides he's had enough and he's a little bit tipsy. So the car that they'd put on for me, Steve and Ray, Ray said he's going outside to have a sleep. We walk out when me and Steve are ready to go. Car's gone. And he went home in the car. So me and Steve had to get a taxi back from Leeds. So Ray had these really nice like loafer shoes the next day at training. And I went to Billy, the lad who ran the building, can you get me 2 6-inch nails and a hammer? And I hammered both his shoes into the bench.
Oh, that was so much better than what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to put a nail up his shoe.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have injured my teammate like that. But his shoes weren't any good.
Did he get you back for that?
Hold on a minute. Get me back for it. He left me in Leeds. Who's in the wrong? Could you imagine the state of my shoes walking back from Leeds if I'd had no money on me?
If you'd have been caught doing something like that with either manager,
I would have laughed.
Manager?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ron Atkinson or Sir Alex would laugh at that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As long as I paid for the damage and the nails.
I never had the pleasure of playing with you, but I've played other games with you from then on in. But speaking to likes of Snoz and Clayton and Butty Scholesy, playing at the Cliff where we are now, in the younger days when you used to play these games and one of the lads would get done, they always used to say that, but Robbo would look after us.
There was one with Sharpie with Paul Stewart.
That's
Paul
the one.
Stewart tried to top him when he played for Tottenham.
And what happened there?
Paul Stewart was carried off.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
No, not too much. The FA might still turn around and try and find me now.
So many memories here. What would be your favourite memory, each of you, from being at the Cliff?
Big Peter Schmeichel coming out of the bath, and Nicky Butts just made a pot of tea, and he's stirring the tea, and Big Pete asks for go on, I'll have a tea with 1 sugar, but he's stirring it, and Big Pete's toweling himself down with his Hampton hanging out, and hot spoon right on the end of it, and you can imagine this room, benches were still here, and Big Pete's legging it around, these 2 benches chasing Butty with a little blister on the end of it. So funny times. I know, I know.
More on the training
but
bench,
it just sticks in my mind. Just being on this bench, and there used to be a little table at the end of the bench. Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
So there's this guy called Freddie Frost who had a garage just over the road, and he used to do all repairs if the lads had a little bump on the car or whatever, and he helped all the lads out with the cars. And so he had a bit of a scrapyard as well. And so I said to Freddie, whatever is still licensed, I says, but is an old banger and it's a wreck of a car, can you bring it onto the car park when we're out training? So if you bring it round at about 11 o'clock. And so anyway, he comes down. So we're going to Giggsy. I had a word with the gaffer, and we thought it was a bit unfair, like a couple of months ago, that you didn't get a club car, but you've been in the first team squad all the time. You're in the first team dressing room. I've had a word with the gaffer. We've got your club car. This car had no windscreen in. It had about 20 dents in it. Everything. It went, there's the keys.
Oh, that was brilliant.
Well, that's the official Manchester United podcast, just launched this week. Subscribe now on Deezer or your preferred podcast provider. Some interesting stories there. And I'm guessing, Sylvan, that's one of the things you miss when you stop playing, is the dressing room banter, shall we say, from some of the stories that we heard there.
That's the main thing. That's what stays with you, I believe. You know, you play a lot of games, you win medals here and there, but the dressing room banter is the part that you miss the most. You know, it's being around the lads every day of the week. You become like a family for the period that you're at that football club. You know,
some weird sort of dysfunctional family.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you know, my time here, my time at Wolves as well. We all grew up we're all similar ages, all did things at the similar time, and it's just amazing how quickly it goes by.
Yeah, every dressing room different, I guess, as well, Danny.
Yeah, it is, but I think, you know, when I stop, I think that's, like Sylvan said, the one thing that I'm definitely going to miss. Obviously, you're not going to be playing football anymore, but it's, you know, you just can't get that again. Like, I don't know how you replace that. You know, you're with 20, 25 of your mates every day, travelling together. You spend so much time together. And it's literally, it's just, you know, you just banter each other literally 24/7.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It helps so much though on the pitch as well, doesn't it? And you can tell when things aren't quite right in a dressing room. Sometimes it's just not quite right on the pitch as well.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got a good dressing room, it just makes its way out onto the pitch. You can always tell teams that have got a good team spirit, you know, because you see it out on the pitch. They all fight for each other. They run harder for each other. And I've had that, and you know, Danny's had that as well. And it's brilliant. You can't replace that. You know, and I think any lad that's played football will tell you the same thing. Any player that's played will tell you the same thing. They'll have a team that they played for where the dressing room was brilliant, and those memories live with you for life.
Yeah, Ollie said that was one of the most important things to sort when he came in, was to get the players laughing and smiling again. And I guess enjoying your football is the most important thing, because once you do that, then you know the results can start to come, can't they?
Yeah, I just think it's massively important for the team and to be winning games. We spoke about having it when you're travelling together or in a dressing room. But I think if you can get a good amount of players that actually spend time with each other and communicate with each other away from football and away from the training ground, I think it's, you know, that's just as important as well. And like Sylvan said, he's had it before and I've had it before, where, you know, you've got the WhatsApp groups and you go off and you might go to someone's house, if it's poking out or whatever it is. And I think that's always been a big thing at United. You know, when I was young and I used to see it with the first team, and we used to get invited to go around to Wesley's house, Wes Brown's and you know, and Fletch. And I think it's just massively important, and it does help when you're on the pitch.
Yeah, it certainly does. Well, as you know, the Manchester United Foundation do some excellent work in the community to help disadvantaged children. One club tradition that brings fans in from far and wide to meet the first team players and management is the Dream Day. Take a look at this.
Yeah, this is my first Dream Day. Today's been amazing. I think meeting all these special fans and basically giving something back. I mean, when they're going through such a difficult time. I mean, they're just the same as everyone else. True fans. Seen today, they've been signing signatures. I mean, to put a smile on their face is obviously great for us, and it's nice for them to come down and especially to watch us and watch us train.
Yeah, you know, they're excited to see us. You know, they've given us advice, good luck, and I've given them to that. Just keep chasing your dream, you know, keep at it, and just always have hope.
Boys, we've got something special for you here.
Remember that from last time? That's fantastic, you dug that out.
That's 17 years ago.
17.
That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Gigs that came out riding your first scooter.
Roy looks the same.
Right.
There for you, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Fantastic.
Yeah. Great to have you back again.
First of all, I watch Man United on TV every weekend, and then I've got in contact with Make-A-Wish, and they made this possible, contacting us, and it's the most amazing thing in my life, just coming over from America, just to meet players that play in England. It's just the best thing.
Well, it was just always my wish, because like everyone in my family has supported Man U throughout their lives. Coming here today was inspiring.
They call it Dream Day for a reason, because, you know, it feels like a dream, meeting all the players, see them training right now, but, you know, it's just amazing.
Oh, what a fabulous day that is. Well, let's head over to Statman Dave now. Sylvan has joined him in the box-to-box studio to take a look at the tactical side of tonight's game.
Cheers, Mandy. Thank you. Of course, I'm joined by Silva. I'm going to talk a little bit about tactics. United, of course, playing a back three from the start like they did against Liverpool, Silva. Do you think that's the right option?
Yeah, definitely. I think they look strong against Liverpool in that formation. They utilised the fullbacks really well. They played the high press, and it was really effective.
I think the other interesting side for Manchester United, of course, is playing almost two split strikers, Dan James and Marcus Rashford, who did really well against Liverpool.
Yeah, they did really well, full of pace. And for me, I think it's key that they run into the wide areas, you know, and create problems for the Chelsea defenders, get them running back towards their own goal. And when they do that, it's important that Lingard here breaks the lines and gets into the box to get his goals.
Absolutely. It's quite an interesting fact, if, like we sort of mentioned, if Chelsea's fullbacks do go high, it's those sort of spaces, as you mentioned, Jesse Lingard getting into the penalty area. Could be really interesting to see, because, of course, United caught Chelsea on the break a number of times at Old Trafford.
Yeah, definitely. It's a team full of pace, you know, and they've got to utilise that pace in order to be effective and cause Chelsea some real problems. But for me, the key is Lingard, making sure he breaks the lines, gets into the box, running without the ball and gets his goals in the box.
Well, interesting. We've seen Jesse Lingard play in this formation for Manchester United and do really well. I remember a game against Swansea City where he grabbed 2 goals and I think 2 assists. Fantastic. The other side of the game, I think we've got to look at Brandon Williams at left wing back. That's going to be really interesting up potentially against Christian Pulisic, who grabbed the hat-trick at the weekend.
Yeah, Pulisic is in good form, as we know. He scored a hat-trick. He's in really good form. But for me, Brandon Williams has got to take him this way. Brandon Williams has got to run here all day. That's what he's really good at, is getting forward, bombing forward, causing Pulisic problems and the defenders problems, and that's where he's most effective.
Absolutely. I think it's quite interesting as well against Liverpool. United kind of went man for man. You know, if Liverpool's front three dropped off the line, they had a man on the back, which was good. It gave United that sort of ability to play a little bit higher at the pitch. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if both Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams do step a little bit higher, engage Chelsea higher up the pitch from those wing-back positions.
I think they will do. It was effective against Liverpool and it'll be effective today against Stamford Bridge. I think they've really got to impose their style on Chelsea early on in the game, be really solid, and I think what you'll see is Wan-Bissaka and Brandon Williams really high up the pitch, causing Chelsea problems.
Yeah, it's going to be a big part of the game, I think, as well, getting in behind those fullbacks for Manchester United. And you mentioned Jesse Lingard, could be from attacking midfield, could be the game winner. But anyway, that's our thoughts. Back to the studio to you, Mandy.
Thanks very much. Well, after Axel Tuanzebe was injured in the warm-up against Liverpool 10 days ago, Marcus Rojo stepped up and put in an impressive performance in the United backline. He's enjoying his football at the moment. We caught up with him earlier this week.
No, en lo personal muy contento por volver a estar dentro del equipo, jugar muchos partidos de nuevo. Estoy muy bien en mi forma física y eso lo siento a la hora de jugar, ¿no? Estoy muy contento por mi rendimiento dentro del equipo y nada, y contento también por los resultados. Empezamos partido difícil con Liverpool, sacamos adelante un buen resultado, si bien no era el que queríamos, pero ganamos un punto. Y nada, los últimos 2 ganamos también, así que muy contento. Sin duda, no es lo conveniente que te digan a último momento que vas a jugar, pero bueno, uno siempre trata de prepararse, y más en estos partidos que son tan grandes, son tan difíciles, entonces tenés que estar concentrado por más que no estés dentro del 11, y yo creo que lo hice muy bien, a pesar de todo lo que había pasado antes. Sí, sin duda, los fans siempre están apoyando. Cada vez que me toca jugar y hago las cosas bien, siento el cariño de la gente, siento como la gente disfruta al verme jugar dentro del 11, así que eso me pone muy contento. Seguro, necesitamos un cambio, necesitamos un buen resultado, si bien, como dije recién, no es lo que queríamos, sin duda que queríamos ganar, porque estamos en nuestra casa con nuestro fan. Creo que durante todo el partido fuimos superiores a ellos, si bien en el segundo tiempo ellos un poco se vinieron, que es lo lógico porque eran los punteros y tenían que ganar, pero creo que el primer tiempo lo superamos ampliamente, merecimos más, pero bueno, fue un punto de quiebre también para el equipo, para estar en positivo y conseguir estos 2 resultados ahora de estos últimos partidos. Sin duda, que este año empezamos bien, ganándoles en casa. Es un rival duro, siempre es difícil jugar en su campo, pero bueno, nos suele ir bien. Espero que esta sea también un gran partido para el equipo, poder salir bien y poder avanzar en esta Copa, que también es muy lindo ganarla. Nada, sin duda fue un gran partido, un gran resultado en como te digo, un campo difícil. Siempre los partidos ahí son muy abiertos. Ellos intentan jugar mucho, atacar, nosotros también, y creo que el año pasado fuimos superiores a ellos. Nos encontramos con un resultado muy cómodo y creo que pudimos desplegar un buen fútbol.
Sí, estamos en un momento de cambio donde hay muchos jugadores jóvenes que están en los dos equipos jugando. Entonces nosotros los jugadores que ya llevamos más tiempo tenemos que tratar de apoyar a esos jóvenes para que puedan demostrar que pueden jugar en el primer equipo del United, también de ellos, así que va a ser un partido muy intenso porque se va a vivir mucho la juventud dentro del campo y va a ser un partido muy de ida y vuelta.
So the thoughts of Marcus Rocco, and he's admitted, I spoke to him earlier this week as well, he's admitted he loves playing in a back three, and quite interesting to see how that works out tonight. But again, a player that is just desperate for games.
Yeah, he wants to play. Every time he's called upon, he puts in a solid performance. He's all action, Rojo, and he's just wears, he wears his heart on his sleeve. Whenever he plays, he's all action, and he'll be looking for a strong performance today. He's an experienced player.
Yeah, he talks about that back three, saying that he just feels more assured. Do you get that? Do you understand that?
I do, because he's a centre back. He can play centre back, left centre back, and obviously he's played at left back for Man United. So you would think with all his attributes, he has got everything to be the left of a three. So yeah, I think, and obviously with Harry in the middle as well. I think I guess no disrespect to Axel, but I think it ended up working out quite well, because as I said, he is left-footed. So now it'll be interesting to see how he does tonight, and he's got an opportunity now to maybe get a good run of games in the team.
Yeah, he said that Liverpool incident where he was just called upon, someone injured in the warm-up, is the first time it's happened in his career, but he dealt with it well, that's for sure.
Yeah, did, yeah.
OK, well, time now for a quick reminder of that lineup that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has picked for tonight's game. In goal, taking David De Gea's place, is Sergio Romero. And in what we think is be a back three, we've got Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and the man we were just speaking about a moment ago, Marcus Rocco. Ahead of them, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Fred, who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says has been playing remarkably in Pogba's absence, and Scott McTominay, the man that got Manchester United's 2000 Premier League goal, and Brandon Williams getting his chance tonight as well. Up front, we've got Lingard, Marcus Rashford, and Dan James as well, the man that's been impressing this season. So we'll take a look at Manchester United's formation, or how we think they're going to line up. As we were just saying to the guys there, we think it's going to be a back three. We shall find out very shortly. And the bench for Manchester United, as you can see on the bottom, Garner, the one young player in there as well. So going to be interesting to see how things pan out tonight. Now you've seen the two teams, how do you think tonight's game is going to go?
I'd like to see a similar performance from United that I saw at Liverpool. I want them to really be effective in that formation, press Chelsea high up the pitch, high energy. But they've got to remain solid, especially in the early parts of the game, because Chelsea are scoring a lot of goals. They're in really good form. But for me, I see United, as long as they can keep solid in the first sort of 25, 30 minutes, build their way into the game, frustrate Chelsea, frustrate their fans as well. And I think United can go on and get a positive result.
Yeah, we did get a positive result in the opening weekend of the season. United great on the counter-attack. How important do you think that will be tonight as well?
Yeah, I think that'll be the same again. And I think if you Frank Lampard, he would have mentioned that to his team. But for me, I think, like Sylvan said, the first 20 minutes, you're away from home. It's a night game. It'll be very important. You want to make sure you haven't conceded a goal. And then I think progressing in the game, I think Jesse Lingard tonight will be really important. We've got Marcus and Dan James up front, and I think Jesse's that link between Fred and McTominay to try and get on the ball, find space to turn and give them some through balls.
Absolutely. OK, guys, thanks for the moment. That's just about it in the studio for now. Sylvain and Danny will be back with me at half-time. But meetings between these two sides are rarely dull, and there have been plenty of goals over the years, including 9 the last time the two sides met at Halloween in 2012. Let's remind you of some of the best as we hand over to our commentary team, Stuart Gardner and Ben Thornley.
It's in! Into the bottom corner! Back to Nani. This could be glorious. Oh, what a goal! Percy 2-0. Chelsea wide open. Wayne Rooney at Stamford Bridge again.
Well, the third of 4th consecutive away games for United. Confidence really high after wins in Serbia and Norfolk. And the last time United were here in the League Cup, as you were seeing, it was a 9-goal thriller. So goodness only knows what we can expect here tonight, Ben Thornley.
Well, we're not going to expect that. I think that'll be far too much. Games like that, when they finish 5-4, only come once in a blue moon. But I'm certainly expecting a competitive game. Two teams that are okay, have made some changes, but are still looking like they're both laying out teams that really want to go and win this tie. And you've only got one chance to do it, so let's give it a good go.
The scene's set here at Stamford Bridge. We're promised some fireworks when the teams walk out towards that centre circle. The traditional kick-off time of 8:05. And they're not quite a full house just yet. All of the United fans, though, behind the goal in the shed end. So should be a terrific atmosphere here tonight at a stadium that overall is not a happy hunting ground for Manchester United. But just remember, think back to February and that fine performance here in the FA Cup will give you a lot of confidence. But United have lost 7 of the last 10 visits here in all competitions. And whether it's at Old Trafford or whether it's here at Stamford Bridge, for whatever reason, even in United's glory days, Chelsea have always been a major thorn in the side.
Yeah, they have. I can only count a number of occasions when I was at the club where we had good results against Chelsea, and that seems to be a theme continuing right the way through. It's a notoriously difficult place to come anyway, Stuart, but I would hope that they will take great heart, A, from the way that they've been playing recently in the last 3 or 4 games, and B, the fact that they came here last year against all the odds, really, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had not long been since in the job, and really gave Chelsea a going over.
Harry Maguire leading out Manchester United. Jorginho is the man wearing the captain's armband for Chelsea. And here come the sides for this Carabao Cup 4th round tie. Just a reminder, United making 4 changes from Norwich. Still, it's a strong side. Romero, Rocco, Brandon Williams, Jesse Lingard, all coming in. And just shuffled the pack a bit, really, Ollie. But you still look at that Manchester United 11, where we think it's a 3 at the back, and you think, yeah, that's a strong lineup.
It is a strong lineup. I agree with you, Stuart. It certainly looks like, with the personnel that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reverted to 3 at the back. Whether it's going to be a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-1-2, it's probably looking more likely. You've got Brandon Williams and Aaron Wan-Bissaka hoping to get forward in those wide positions, supporting the front 2 or 3, whoever that may be, and let's make it an attacking start.
Chelsea are making 6 changes tonight from the side that scored 4 at Burnley. And they give chances to impress the teenagers. Mark Gurhey at centre-back, which is a key position, and Billy Gilmour in the centre of midfield. Pulisic, fresh from that hat-trick at Burnley. And, of course, Hudson-Odoi back from injury now, and his pace can unsettle any defence.
Yeah, him and Pulisic as well. They've both got great pace. Hudson-Odoi obviously had a bad injury, but he's back now. Michy Batshuayi on his day can be a real handful, and obviously with the 2 midfielders that they've got in Jorginho and Kovacic, very, very experienced and quality on the ball.
Referee is Paul Tierney. No VAR involved, thank goodness, in the Carabao Cup. But remember, no extra time, as there was in that crazy 5-4 in 2012. Go straight to penalties on 90 minutes. Will it be United in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup? It's all set up nicely, isn't it? Chelsea against Manchester United. And let's join our radio commentator for the first 45 minutes of the bridge. Good evening to Chris Parrott.
Thanks, Stuart. So for the first time in 7 years, it is Chelsea in the League Cup for Manchester United. A sold-out Stamford Bridge is rocking, and a place in the last 8 at stake for the winners. Another away day for Manchester United. Will it be another victory? The lights are on in West London. Chelsea have come a long way since losing at Old Trafford in August. 7 straight wins in all competitions for Frank Lampard's team. They will take some stopping this evening. Alongside me is Lou Macari, a man who played for United in the 1983 League Cup final. You know all about big evenings like this in this competition, and this is a very important game for United.
It is an important game, and it's important to get, if they can, get to an early season final. And
works wonders for confidence. You get to Wembley, you take whatever 50,000 people down there with you, and even better, you win it. It breeds a confidence right throughout the team to the end of the season. We mentioned a sellout crowd here tonight at the Bridge. It's not exactly sold out, is it?
Well, no, in the shed end to our left-hand side, which the United fans have the whole end, there's a massive area. We were looking at it, 6 or 7 rows at the front of the stand which haven't been sold. So I reckon United could have at least 1,000, 1,500 fans more here. But health and safety regulations have stopped that happening. But it's still a red-hot atmosphere, and whenever United and Chelsea play, fireworks tend to go off, including last year here in the FA Cup. United are about to get us underway, kicking from left to right, away from the away fans, towards the Matthew Harding stand to our right-hand side, in the red shirts, white shorts and black socks. Chelsea all in blue apart from white socks.